Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of our podcast. I'm really excited that you are here and joining us. I am so grateful that our guest today, Donna Grande, has agreed to join us. When I met Donna just a few weeks ago, actually, in a networking group, and we got into a breakout session, and I heard Donna speak, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have a conversation with her. And then once I had my individual conversation with her, I was like, I've got to have her as a guest on this podcast. And so Donna has graciously agreed to spend some more time with me and spend some time with you, because what she has to share is, in my opinion, a game changer for everybody's businesses. And I just really hope that you'll listen and get some good takeaways from what Donna and I are going to talk about today. But just to kind of give you a little bit of background on Donna, she's got over 25 years of national sales and marketing experience. But she is now known as the Grande Connector, connecting with people and helping to make connections. And she thrives on coaching business professionals to reframe their mindset in thinking more relational than transactional. And she has a coaching and a system that she utilizes that focuses on showing gratitude and appreciation to others. And I love what she says here. People love to do business with people that they know, like, and trust, but the other ingredient is to also be memorable. You always want to stand out rather than fit in. So Donna, welcome to our episode of the podcast today. So glad that you're here to join us.
Oh, Scott, thank you so much and for those kind words. And the feelings were mutual. After I met you, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to get together. So when you mentioned the podcast, you know how well, I'm Italian. All my short stories are long, number one. But I'm so passionate about what I do. I love to help, like you said, not only connect with people, but help people understand how to make those genuine connections. It's been a lost art, and I'm hoping that I can help by this podcast and your generosity in sharing this information to others.
Absolutely. And, it really is a lost art, because if we think about, even just the past week of businesses that we dealt with, that we interacted with, how many of them felt like it was a true relationship that we had with them, as opposed to, oh, this was just a transaction, right? Very few are relational. And those businesses where it is a relationship, it's totally different. And so kind of tell us a little bit about, what got you into really focusing on the relationship aspect of businesses and how that's transformed your business as well as that of some of your clients.
Great. And that's how I really got started with the business. I've been in national sales and national arena for 27 plus years. And in that time, you had to, make cold calls. That's why they still call them cold. Send emails, send text mess. Well, we weren't really text messaging, but there were no connections that were made. So what I started doing, and I was working with very, very large customers. They were like $5 and $6 million contracts, and I wouldn't name the names, but you would know who they were. You get packages from them every day, probably on your doorstep. You buy these for your car, these tires for your car. So large manufacturing plants, and there was no connections being made until I started using a system, promptings, and acting on a prompting. I was sending them cards that were actually in a teal color envelope. And the message was just like, thank you. Thank you for your time. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Labor Day. I saw on LinkedIn, think of this one. When you connect with people on LinkedIn, do you send them a thank you for connection? Or are you already trying to sell them? Again, the focus is more transactional than relationship. And I started doing this, Scott, and eventually they called me. They saw the back of my card, the services that I was offering, and they said, Donna, I don't know who you are. I'm getting all these cards from you, but I see the services that you have to offer is something we need. Can we meet? And that was the light bulb that went off, Scott. I decided, you know what? started my business a little over 2 years ago, and I started coaching business how to say exactly what you said earlier. Focus more on building relationships first. The
Mhm.
relationships will build your business. And how do we do that? It's a lost art. I mean, think of the social medias that we're on. We like it, we thumbs up, thumbs down. There's no engagement. And
Yeah.
if we can go back to creating those engagements, to showing people that we thank them, to show them we appreciate them, to just show gratitude and kindness. I think you, in our one-on-one, I even shared a little bit about this. The world's so divided.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's political now, whether it's a religion, whether it's whatever the segment is, we're so divided. And if I could coach people and businesses to just, let's get back to building those relationships first. Those relationships are going to build your business. And I shared that with you. The 4 ingredients I have: know, like, and trust, and be memorable, always
Yeah.
stand out, never fit in. So that's what really helped me get started with my business, to really give, because you get so much when you give. If you give without any other intentions of just helping people, being a resource, and creating that human connection. That's what I'm passionate about. I say I pay to be kind.
Right.
And who are the people I'm looking for to do? Those people and professionals who want to do the same, who want to show kindness, thoughtfulness, gratitude. And your book is excellent. Hit the Box just fits in right into the process that I talk about. It's all about building that relationship and then sending those emails that they know who you are and they're not going to be deleted. They see that you're a resource. They see that you are kind. And it works so nice in conjunction with the process and system that I have, that your book, if people don't have that book, need to get it, need to read it, need to apply it to their business as well.
Well, and I like the fact that, number one, you're leading off with, showing appreciation and gratitude. We all crave acknowledgement. We all crave, being liked, and being acknowledged by others. And those businesses that actually lead with that, you're establishing this likability and even this factor of trust right out of the gate, even though you haven't actually done business with each other. And something else that I really like too is that with the methodology that you teach, and of course what I'm a huge proponent of, is multi-channel marketing. Right. Obviously, I'm an email guy. I've written the book, Hit the Inbox, how to get your emails, delivered to people so that they can see them and take action on them. But an email is a big driver for most businesses. But that can't be your only marketing media. And so you're really leveraging direct mail, but you're also using LinkedIn, Facebook, other social media, other ways that you're connecting with them so that you can ultimately use that direct mail media to send your cards and just stay top of mind with them. And whenever you and I met with our one-to-one, I remember sharing with you that there's many days that I go to my post office box and it's empty. I'm like, why did I drive all the way here to the post office and there's nothing here. So if somebody had sent me a card or anything for that matter, I would be looking at it because it's showing up in a place where very few people show up now. And so with your cards, sending them on holidays or as a thank you, after making a connection, whatever that looks like, chances are they're going to see it, right?
Yes, yes. It's I say I get 100% on my open rate. So think
Right?
of that. This is coming in the mail. You are going to open it and you are going to read it, right? As a matter of fact, one of my clients, Tino Valani's with Mosquito Hunters, I've been working with him for about 2 years now, and his referral rate, Scott, went up 200%. Now, those
Wow.
were his words, not mine. He said, Don, he's very analytical. They went up 200 plus 200%. And
Wow.
so it's the open rate. And to your point, it does have to be a multi-medium approach. There's not a silver bullet, right? But I think
Right.
if we focus on more, what we can do on a relationship. And another for your audience that's watching is keep on sharing. It's a great platform that's a social, very ethical social media platform. If anyone's interested, I'd love to even share that with you and your audience. That
Hmm.
really helps people share information and be very ethical in their approach. And if they can get in touch with me with my phone number or my email address, and they'll get 100 free ads just to promote themselves. But there's so many great vehicles to utilize in building relationships, as long as you're focused on the relationships first.
Yeah.
That's what's business.
And so, with this, like obviously we're talking about playing the long game here. When
Right.
you're transactional, it's like, who's going to buy something from me today, right? When we're building the relationships by sending these cards and showing the appreciation, it's really all about, I want to get to know you. I want you to like me. I want you to trust me before I'm even going to make an ask. And, for some people, that might take a week. Other people,
Yeah.
it might take a year, right? But it's all about playing that long game, because ultimately, no matter what, when we do get that transaction, we want that relationship to last a long time. We don't want just that one time sale and like, oh, great, I got a new customer. They bought something from me, off to the next one. It's really about building that long term relationship where they want to do business with you over and over again.
Yeah, and you'll get referrals from that.
Yeah.
So think of not only that, but I mean, I said I've been in business for 20, 7 years, and I still, to this day, I'm still in touch with not all of them, but several of them from those 27 years, because they're getting cards from me, thanking them. And it's just creating top of mind awareness of who you are, but in the same breath is actually showing appreciation, kindness, and that you're thinking of them. And think about, if you're prospecting with someone and they get a card in the mail, but think if you add a little gift, or if you want to send a Starbucks gift card or something to say, hey, let's have a virtual cup of coffee over conversation. I never like to say meeting. I like to say conversation, because it makes it, again, it's more
Yeah.
personal, it's relational, and it's so easy to do and so economical to do. I mean, like I said, I can stand on my platform and just really share how grateful I am for this meeting today, and how others can build their business by utilizing a very unique process and system in place.
Yeah. And if you think about it, everybody that's listening, when was the last time you actually got a thank you card from somebody?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
really think about that. I don't know, when the last time it was that I actually received a thank you card. Even birthday greetings now are very uncommon. I mean, on Facebook, when I had my birthday in July, I got, a couple hundred, birthday greetings on Facebook, posted onto my wall, but I think I only got one birthday card, and that was from
Yeah.
my pastor at church, right? And it did actually have a handwritten note in it. But the days of people actually mailing you these physical cards for different moments like that, are very, very few and far between. So if you can kind of give us a little bit of sneak peek behind, if somebody's considering doing this. Obviously you mentioned holidays like, Memorial Day, we've got Labor Day coming up, Christmas and Thanksgiving, those are like the common things. But when else is a good time to send these cards? Let's say that you make a connection on LinkedIn. Is can you get information off of a LinkedIn connection that would give you a reason to send somebody a card?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And I get that question asked quite often is, Donna, how do I get their address? You know what? You know what the answer is? Ask. I think if people understand your reason why is, I have shared with them that I think it's important to show kindness and gratitude to those professionals in my network.
Hmm.
May I have your address so that I can include you maybe on your birthday, as well as some of the holidays. And 10 out of 10 people will give me their address. And I think and again, even with when COVID hit, this was phenomenal because we couldn't interact with anyone.
Right.
So that's a good time, is when someone's act on your prompting is the best response I could give you.
Hmm.
You talk to someone, send them a card, thank you for their time. If you're prospecting someone, send them information that's going to be helpful. I'm working with a client now who's in the medical arena, and he is going to utilize creating a video, putting that video on a QR code, put the QR code in a card. And
Hmm.
so when they receive the card, again, there's a conversation that's taking place. that
Wow.
you're not interrupting their day. And he's giving information. It's more of information, not selling,
Hmm.
but the content of the card needs to be kindness, gratitude, appreciation, and information. So he's sharing information about what the medical is, what's happening in the medical arena, and
Hmm.
how that can help that individual. So always think about being a resource.
Yeah.
And people like the information to be helpful. So that's another opportunity to do that. If someone gives you a referral, thank them for that referral and maybe send them a gift card. If you have someone that's been with you for a year, send them a happy anniversary card. Thank you for being with me for a year. Hope to continue on for another year. Milestones in those anniversaries. So I have a multitude of ways to utilize the cards, and that's where my coaching comes into play, and how to help people utilize the cards. What do I say? When do I do it? So I'd love to share whoever wants more information on maybe what industry they're in, how they
Hmm.
can utilize the cards.
Yeah, so definitely tailoring it to your specific business and the people that you're reaching out to is really important. Now, obviously, we all know that postage continues to go up. I just bought a roll of stamps for a direct mail campaign that I'm doing last week, and I think now what is it, 73 cents, for a stamp now. And so, that can be one of the objections. People are saying, man, postage is going up. It's just so expensive. And then, you have these cards that you have to buy and all of that. What's kind of your, comeback to that potential objection there, and what's the real value that you actually get?
Right, the ROI is phenomenal. So, if you are looking at, we have packages, we have memberships, we have subscriptions. We really design it to customize to whatever everyone's budgets needs may be. We have some that are basic accounts. So when you want to send a card, it's $4. You can put photos on it, put that person's logo on it, put the back of your information on the back of your card. And then it's $4 and that includes the stamp. So it's
Okay.
personalized, customized. But we have subscriptions as low as $17 a month that you can send cards out, $37 a month. But then we have packages, Scott. Most of the companies look at these packages. And the beginner's package is like $4.95 one time. You
Hmm.
get 150 cards. That includes stamps.
Oh, wow.
And you get a virtual assistant. Quite often people say, I don't have the bandwidth to actually create, design, and send these out. You get 2 hours of our gratitude assistant who will actually upload your contacts, create the back of your card, design your campaigns, and send those out. So you get 150 cards to handle that. So we have all different monthly subscriptions. There's no contracts at all whatsoever. You
Hmm.
can go up and down the monthly subscriptions. The packages include the virtual assistant, and so much more. So we have designed packages and systems that will really benefit those individuals and also help them with their budgets.
Sure. So, I mean, so really it's very cost effective, and really, again, it goes back to that ROI. You're
Right.
making an investment in a relationship, and ultimately building those relationships is going to pay out, and it's going to reap way more than what you've put into it.
Right. I mean, you look at $500, you can reach 150 people. I
Yeah.
mean, if you pay 500 for something else, what's your ROI? You're going to see this ROI. These people, the recipients, I should say, are going to look at, wow, I get it all the time. When I'm in-person meetings and I can send it right from my phone, I can do it on the computer. They're like, how did you do that? Sign me up. I mean, some of them are just instantaneously like, I want this system. I want to use it. I want to work with you, Donna. So
Awesome. And so you mentioned like you can actually do this from your phone, and you can, like it's super easy. So once you get this set up, like there's very little work that would need to be done in an ongoing fashion. So like with most things, it's, doing the setup and the prep work at the very beginning. And then from there, it kind of is almost on autopilot, just choosing who you want to send to when you want to send to it is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. That's exactly it, Scott, is just setting that up, but you're still being able to be personalized in your message. It's just
Hmm.
customized and it's very unique. It really does stand out.
Yeah.
Your card's in the mail. You should be getting it this week. So
Okay,
thank you.
awesome. Good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the
I think
post
I'm
office
gonna put
box today. It had a lot of junk mail in it today, but yeah, it'll probably be here probably Tuesday or Wednesday from when we last spoke. So,
yeah, and I think I might have put some brownies in there for you too.
oh,
So
that'll be good. I enjoy brownies, so awesome. Well, is there anything else about the whole card relation in the relationship thing that you would like to share that maybe I haven't thought of to ask?
yeah, there is a webinar that I have that talks about the gratitude movement. And it is, I mean, it's an invitation to watch this.
Hmm.
And again, if, you know, for anyone who's listening to this, if they want to contact me, be happy to just give the link so you can watch this. And it really gets very specific on what the gratitude movement is. And now so many companies, I mean, large companies and businesses are looking towards this gratitude movement.
Hmm.
It's a movement to really change the world. It's a movement to create engagement, relationships. But what it's also doing simultaneously is helping you grow your business. And
Hmm.
I think when people watch the gratitude movement, they understand the entire process and the entire impact of what's behind this gratitude movement. So it's a great webinar. It's by invitation only. You can watch it on your own time.
Hmm.
But I'd love to just share that. That would be probably the one thing that I would, in closing, would just want to make sure that they do have an opportunity to watch that and understand what this gratitude movement's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely put that into the show notes. That way, your contact information will be there, the link to that webinar. Again, whenever you and I met in that networking breakout room and you started talking about what you were doing, and we only had a few minutes in that breakout, I was like, this is something that is totally different from what everybody else in marketing is talking about and what they're doing. And I know I need to do a much better job of showing gratitude in my own business. I've been, thinking about, here's all these things that I really need to be doing, writing blog posts, social media posts, making connections, doing direct mail campaigns, various things like that. But until I actually met you, I'd never really given much thought about, wait a minute, I can show up in a unique way with cards, with gifts, especially to those people that I really want to, break through and, really get through to, right? I've got a company right now that I've had a couple of introductions. Actually, had the opportunity to present my book in person to the CEO, the founder of that company, and I've exchanged a couple of emails with him. But to get to the person that I really need to talk to, that's a decision maker that is in the day-to-day operations, I've been really stonewalled. So I've gone through like their support desk and just they've kind of given pushback, haven't wanted to get me in connection to the person that I need to speak with. Whereas, like, if I can get their address, which is pretty much easy to find nowadays, right? Or you can actually ask them if I connect with them on LinkedIn and able to do that. And then I just constantly show up without asking, but just showing, like if I'm able to find out on LinkedIn, their work anniversary, if I
Yeah.
can get their birthday from them, send them cards on holidays and everything, just playing that long game and patiently waiting. Eventually, like you said, they're going to be likely, it's not guaranteed, but they're going to be likely to say, Scott, you've been showing up in my mailbox for the past 6 months. Okay, let's chat. Let's have a conversation. How can we work together to help, our audience with what you're working? And so whenever you were talking about that in that breakout room, the light bulb came on, for me. Is like, this is another way to break through the ice, but you have to be patient. That's the key thing. And, even with like what I teach in email marketing, that, so many of the rules have changed that we can't do email marketing the same way that we've done all along. With what you're doing, it requires a mindset shift. Is like we
Mhm.
can't be transactional like everybody else. We need to focus on building that relationship. And when we do that, people are going to stand up and notice. They're going to be like, wait a minute, something's different here. they're not, they're connected with me on LinkedIn, but the message that they send right after isn't like, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? It's like, hey, I've got a gift I'd like to send to you. Would you mind sharing with me your address? Something, to that effect. Is that kind of a good encapsulation?
Perfect. I couldn't have said perfect encapsulation. Absolutely. Is that's how, and you're doing all the right things with that. And I would just add maybe one more thing. And usually when you're connecting with someone on LinkedIn, I do get their address and I do find their birthday and then their work anniversaries. But also, we talk about engagement and relationship. And the one thing I do is when they post, don't just like. Really be intentional and comment
Mhm.
on their post.
Yeah.
That's creating some engagement and maybe ask some questions from their post. So you
Mhm.
always want to think about engagement because yeah, Scott, it's happened to me too. If someone asked me to connect and I did them right away, oh, I got all this thing that now, and I'm like, and I replied back to them, I said, I'd like to show you maybe a different way of how you can build a relationship first and maybe what you're using now.
Right.
Um, and I didn't even mention this part, but Wade with Star Protection out in Houston, Texas, he's also using this for his employee retention.
Hmm.
So many businesses now are all complaining how they have the turnover with their employees.
Yeah.
So think about this. How do you think an employee would feel if they get a card acknowledging them on their work anniversary and they're getting a American Express gift card to thank them for their loyalty. So this is a program that he is also using that's resonating well and
Oh, wow.
helping them with their retention. So just as another sidebar, not only from prospecting and customers, but also from employees, our internal organization, what we can do to show appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways. I mean, if you just think about all the ways that you can show appreciation, there's ways to leverage, the system that you offer and that you coach on. So I think that this is phenomenal. I mean, it's so unique. And I think, like going back to what you said earlier, we need this now more than ever because we are so divided in so many different ways, that it's easy to get into disagreements, but we're not
Mhm.
really showing appreciation and gratitude for the commonalities that we have. And so when we can really lean into that, it again, it's going to set us apart as somebody that's different. And people, you know, obviously, like our natural bent is it's easy for us to get into arguments. It's easy for us to think negatively. It's easy for us to, to assume the worst, all of those types of things, right? And when somebody shows up in a different way, where they're positive, where they're grateful, where they're excited, where they're, that they're just standing out, that it's like, it's not the norm.
Right.
Those are people that we really want to gravitate to, right? And those are the people that ultimately that we want to do business with. I remember
Yes.
back when I had my IT company. Now, this wasn't, this guy didn't use, didn't send me cards or gifts or anything like that. But when I had my IT company, there was a salesman for a memory manufacturer. So they made the
Mhm.
little memory chips that you could install into computers. And so he, obviously we signed up with them. We had our own branded memory modules that we put into our client computers. And I really liked this guy. And there was many times that he would call. Typically he'd call like once a month and we just have a 30-minute conversation on the phone. He wasn't trying to sell me more memory. He wasn't, doing anything to say, hey, you need to buy more stuff, or hey, we also have these things. Why don't you consider, buying these? We had a genuine conversation, just 30 minutes once a month. He was checking in. And that was so different from all of the other salespeople that, I was glad that I chose to work with them, that company, as opposed to some other vendor that was just constantly looking to sell me something or sell me more things, right? And so just kind of thinking back to that, um, again, just set apart in a different way. And now, if we show up in the mail because nobody else is doing it, like it's going to really stand out.
Yeah, and you never know what anyone's going through in their day. I mean, we're human beings. We're all
Yeah.
flesh and blood. We're all the same. And you don't know what we all have our highs and we all have our lows. So what I have found also is I get such great pleasure in sending the cards, but the recipient, they may be having a terrible day. And I've had those individuals that have contacted me and said, you have no idea what my day was like. And I got this card just saying saying that that person was amazing. It was just saying you're
Mm.
amazing, you're individual, and you're unique to the world. And that just really lifted them up. There's so many mantras that you could send a card to that,
Yeah.
can actually help that person and what they might be going through.
Yeah. And it seems like more and more common that people are going through something almost every
Yes.
week, right? And so when you're showing up and being that bright spot in the week, people will remember that, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, Donna, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you spending some more time with me today, really helping us understand that relationships really should be the core of our business. It's, really what we want long term. And I really believe that the relationships are what's going to help us have longevity in business.
Yes.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it, the economy is always challenging. There's its highs and its lows. And right now we may be entering a recession. We may have a soft landing. We have no idea. But when we build those relationships, it's probably going to allow us to stay in business longer because people want to, continue to do business with us. Or, if they're going through a tough time, if we've got that relationship, it's a whole lot easier to have that conversation if they need to stop using our services for a period of time and then maybe come back later, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you're supporting one another then. So again, that's what's all about, the relationships and the support you get. But then you create a friendship. I mean,
Yeah.
you may start out as a business relationship, which you and I have, but I could see it evolving into a friendship and supporting one another and helping one another. So yeah, like I said, I'm so grateful for this call today and this opportunity to meet with you again. And I'm very appreciative.
Yeah. So, Donna, what's the best way for people to connect with you or to find out more about the services and the coaching that you offer?
So my emails there is Donna, Donna, at Grand Connections, and it is
Mhm.
GrandeConnections.com. So I love to connect people, and I thank you. I do like to be known as the Grand Connector in making connections. My phone number is there as well, but the best is via email, Donna at grandconnections.com. But my phone number is 704-995-4224.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure we put all of the links and everything into the show notes as well. That way you can easily go back to it and get connected with Donna. But definitely reach out to Donna, have a conversation with her. It will be time well invested, and you'll walk away with some great insights and who knows, maybe a new marketing method that you can use that will totally transform your business. So that'll be all for today. But again, thank you, Donna, for joining us, and we'll see you all on the next episode.
Thank you, Scott.